Hello everyone, Denise here. Today we are going to make a ball or a skein of yarn into a hank without an umbrella swift. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is tie the yarn to one of the corners here so that it doesn't go anywhere. And we're going to untie it when we're done. Just like that, just so that it's secure enough to be able to wrap it around. Okay, once we have our chair set up and we have our yarn tied to the corner, then we're just going to go around both the chairs and we're going to wrap the yarn. Make sure it's not tight and it's not loose. So we're just going to wrap the yarn around the chairs. And we're doing this because if you dyed yarn in a ball, some of the dye might not make it to the middle of your ball of yarn. And you know, that's a dyeing experiment unto itself, but the way I've been doing it from a hank. So it just depends on the look you're going for, but a more overall dye will get to the fibers of the yarn easier if it's in a hank. Now we're just going to keep doing this until all of the yarn is on the chairs. Okay, I did not do the whole entire ball of yarn, but I just wanted to show you the next step. So once you get all of your yarn from your ball onto the chairs, then we need to attach it to the beginning. So we're going to untie our first tie where we kept it on the chair. And we're just going to tie it together with the end of the yarn. And if this doesn't match up, say the ending was over here, I've just backtracked and found the other end of it so that it matches up, because you do need to keep track of the ends so that when you're ready to make it into a ball again, it will be easier to unwind. Okay, on to the next step. Okay, so we have our ball of yarn wound around our chairs and we have it tied off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get some yarn that is different from the yarn that we're working with. So if you're working with wool, this is wool, you want something that will not soak up your dye. So I'm going to use some acrylic yarn. And the reason you do this is so that you can find your ties when you're done and snip them without worrying about snipping your actual hank of yarn. So first of all, I want to say that this is the end of your yarn, so you're going to want to tie your end in with that, so that's easier to find as well. So I'm going to scoot this over a bit so that you can see it a little better. Now you want to do sort of an infinity loop through here, and then you're going to go back and you're going to do the same thing. And this helps your fibers from getting tangled when you're dyeing your yarn. Roll back up to the top. And what I do is I tie my ends to this as well, just so that it's more secure. And I don't have to worry about the ends of my actual yarn that I'm dyeing get lost in the mix. So I do that as well, and you'll see that too in my ending part of the video. You'll see how that it's this part of the fibers aren't dyed, and it's easy to tell where you would snip your yarn to proceed putting it into a ball. Okay, on to the next step. Just want to add in here that you want to do this on each side. So this side has the ends of your yarn on it. The other side will not have your ends of yarn on it, but you want to do this infinity loop the same exact way on the other side of your hank so that it keeps that side from tangling as well. So then when you're done with that, you can just slide it off the top of your chairs, and then you have this hank that is ready to dye. And like I said, your hank will be bigger than this. This was just a sample to show you. But essentially it's just the yarn laid out in a huge oval. So it is ready to dye whenever you want to soak it or not soak it, or however your process is going to be. Now it's ready to go. Okay, so you say, hey, what happens when I'm done dyeing my yarn? So what you will do is you're going to reverse your process. You're going to take your hank of yarn and you're going to put your chairs together again, and you're going to put your yarn all the way around it. And then you're going to find your ties, and you're gonna snip those ties. And on one of your ties will be where you joined your yarn. And you'll snip that, and then that is your two ends to your yarn. So that is the process of unwinding your yarn from a hank. Now, if you don't have a ball winder, all you have to do is wind the ball of yarn by hand. And it's longer, but it's effective and it's free. So if you plan on dyeing a lot of yarn and you want to have a lot of hanks of yarn, or say you just subscribe to like Knit Crate or any of the yarn subscriptions that start with hanks of yarn, you might want to invest in an umbrella and a ball winder. And I bought mine years ago at Knit Picks, and they weren't crazy expensive, and I know there are cheaper options now out there for umbrellas anyway. And my ball winder, I think, was around $25. So, and Joanne, I believe, and I know Michael's has them, and Hobby Lobby. So if you have a coupon that week, you could just use it on that if it's not on sale, and pick one up that way. Even if you have, say, partial balls of yarn around your house that are loose and kind of scraggly and they're annoying you, a lot of times when that happens to me, I'll get my ball winder and I will wind it up into this little cake, and then I like the yarn again, and sometimes I'll just sit on the shelf and have it be like a decoration for a while until I find a use for it. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you. I looked for other videos to see if I could find one that targeted what I was looking for to sort of teach you about, but I couldn't find one that was covering all the bases. So anyway, I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, hit like for me and subscribe if you wish. And until next time, bye.